All right, good morning. It's another Saturday morning, and this is my regular Saturday morning show, The Tripods of Life. The Tripod of Life. And last Saturday, we couldn't have this broadcast because we were engaged in another value adding activity. So we are here this morning, and I'll be sharing with you my thoughts on an answer to a question that we need to ask ourselves every now and then. Okay, and we are trying to answer the question this morning on the subject: what are you selling? What are you selling? And so everybody on earth is selling something. Everybody is selling something. So if you're not selling anything, then you don't get value in terms of cash. So you have to be selling something. All right. So while we wait for a few more persons to join us, I like to say a little about the tripods of life. It is a weekly broadcast every Saturday morning from our stable here on Gumnet TV, the Godwin Obuche Media Network. And it features my thoughts on spiritual matters, on mental growth and personal development. We also discuss physical growth and your financial prosperity, besides the fact that it is also a platform for relationship and marriage development and counseling. And so, as a marriage coach, marriage and relationship coach, I also use this platform to help everyone who we come across to be able to make their lives much better than before they met us on this platform. So that's what the tripods of life is about. And so this morning we are focusing on the subject of your financial development, financial growth, career development, business enhancement, packaged all in the subject, which is a question: what are you selling? Okay. Now, I had mentioned earlier that every one of us is selling something. Every one of us is selling something. Now, it's either a physical product or an intangible product in terms of services, or it could just be your service in the place of work. You're selling your capacity to be able to solve problems at the place of employment, and your employer pays you for the time, the competence, the expertise that you give to what you to give to his business, and what makes for his own profitability. Your contribution to the growth of his firm and his organization is a product that you're selling, and he pays you for it in terms of salary. Now, while that is appears to be the traditional item that people get to sell, it has become increasingly very difficult to get everybody involved in salaried employment. If you look at our country, we have a population of over 200 million people, and the government, in terms of federal, state, and local governments, employ less than 5% of this population. And the employment space is not widening at the government level. Now, there is also the organized private sector, industries owned by, corporate organizations, banks, insurance companies, people who run their own businesses and who employ others, at least above 50. All of that put together do not employ up to 7.5% of our population. And so cumulatively, everybody who is employed for gainful salary at the end of the month do not amount to up to 12% of our population. They're not up to 12% of our population. So what happens to the 88% of the population? It is estimated that over 50% of our population live off from what they do in terms of tilling the ground in agricultural activities, from subsistent farming to mechanized farming, the entire agricultural value chain of those who trade in agricultural products and all of that. About 52% of the population are engaged in that, and most of these activities are not formalized. They are semi-formal, so very few are formal, and the majority of the 52% are in the rural areas. They are not educated, they do not have the right mix of information to be able to scale their activity so that they can earn more. And so you have the other percentage of Nigerians, about 30%, involved in trading, involved in small and medium scale enterprises, those who sell stuff in the market, those who have stores around you, and all of that. And so you find that only a few percent of the population are into the creative, innovative, what you call tech, industry, including the entertainment industry, where you have the movies, you have the marketers, you have all of the people who are involved in entertainment and all of that. And so the people within our country who actually benefit from the bulk of funds available for variety of activities or services that are being offered, they are very few. And so if you look at our country, we are still a virgin land in terms of many services that are supposed to be rendered. And that's the reason why we have become a consumption society. We have become a society that depends on the import of products and services from other nations. The amount of products and services that we import into the country is so huge that it has affected the balance of trade. Because with other countries, balance of trade with other countries puts us at a very serious disadvantage. Okay, so while we expect that the government should be putting structures in place so that the citizens can take advantage of those platforms and then leverage on those platforms so that they can become productive, or find a way of educating the citizens to know what they can do while creating the platform for them to leverage upon, while after they have understood what they should do. While we depend on government, or we expect government to do that, The truth of the matter is that they are not. And so the citizens are more or less left to themselves. If you look at, if you paid attention to what has happened in the country in the last couple of weeks, you discover that um, Nigerian citizens continue to be on their own. The government seems to be bothered less about how the so-called economic growth or the activities or the infrastructure they say they are building, how it trickles down to the ordinary person on the street. And so the economy remains stagnant because very few people are actually productive, very few people are contributing to the mix of the GDP. And you might want to find out what relevance this discussion is to you as a person. This background is necessary because you need to understand the system, that you operate in. You need to understand the dynamics and how things work around you, because while you may be wondering, why this is important, this information will help you to understand that you need to play a part. You need to play a part, not just in, the enhancement of your own life, but in the growth of your community. And so it takes me back to what I started by asking, what are you selling? It's either you are producing something for sale, or you have a service or a skill or an endowment that you can harness for selling. Okay, so everybody potentially has got a gift, has got training for something that they are able to do. And so today, if you're not able to understand what you have that you need to sell, then you will be stuck. You will indeed be stuck, because only 15% are working for organized private sector, for the government at different levels. You need to create your own system that you can play in. Fine, the government may not have the right environment for you to operate in, but that's the reason why this kind of conversation is important, so that we can begin to, find ways of, engaging our mind, getting trained, laying hands on information that will help you to be able to start out well, and eventually you begin to stand on your own. You might say, well, what are our schools doing? Frankly, we do not have an educational system that can position people to operate within the context of our environment that will enable you to begin to work your way to the top. Okay? And so, besides your BSc, your MSc, your MBA, you will need the training that is relevant for you to begin to function, in a way that you understand what you have for sale, how you can sell it, how you can produce, how you can develop a system around it, and then begin to work towards, scaling constantly. It is really a pain for me to see that with the amount of resources that we have in the country, with the amount of people who can actually become service providers, value creators, we are still, crawling as a nation. Even at the individual level, we still continue to depend on what government can give to us. In our age and time, with the resources we have in terms of the democratic nature of information and the fact that we can get trained easily, through informal ways, it is no longer fashionable to continue to wait on government, to wait on any body to be able to advance ourselves in life. So that background was important to, create an awakening of our consciousness to this very critical subject of what you can sell, what you should be selling, and how you should go about it. Now, you may have a job and you're earning less than 100,000. Let's not even talk about you having a family that is grossly inadequate to be able to take care of your family. Okay? 100,000 naira is like $200. That's what it is. $200. $200 is 100,000. And very few employers pay a large number of people that sum of money. Majority of people earn below that. As a matter of fact, our minimum wage is less than $100. Our minimum wage is just about $75. That's 30,000. And a lot of people are not paying the minimum wage. So the best way out for most of us Nigerians is to take our destinies in our hands. Okay? Maybe, for instance, you want to buy a house, and an average house costs 25 million, for instance, maybe a 2-bedroom flat in a city center. And if you want yours to be in the village, okay, you may need close to 7 billion naira to put up a decent house, or much more in the rural area. But such a house may not be beneficial to you because it will not generate any kind of income, except, of course, you're retiring to the village and you want to gradually, begin to wind down your life. Okay? So, but if you need a house within the city center or within the urban area that can generate funds for you, that will have enough monetary value in terms of the document, so that you can have funds to do other businesses. Imagine that you're putting up the house as a collateral or security for a loan. Or on a general note, you just need a house so you can stop paying rent. And you need about 15 to 20 million naira to get a decent house within a city. How long do you think you can save if you're earning 100,000 naira? How many years do you think you can save, in view of the fact that there are a lot of other things you have to be dealing with on a monthly basis? It might take you up to 15 to 20 years to save, to be able to have enough money to buy a house or to build one. So, but as someone who is selling something, you're a trader in ideas, you're a trader in concept, you sell services, okay? You run your own organization, you're an entrepreneur, and you have a system in place that can, cause your business to scale over time. If you start today, in the next 5 to 7 years, you might be earning more than $1 million in terms of income every month. but very few people who work for salary do that. Now, I'm not saying that if you're working for salary, you should just abandon it. You can have a side hustle. In Nigeria, you should have more than one income stream. Okay, so you should develop a product for sale. You should have something that you're selling. You should have a place where people come to and buy stuff from you, or you should develop a set of skills that can enable you to be a go-to person for something that people need every day. That is how to build wealth. And trust me, it won't happen overnight. But I can guarantee you that if you start today and you give yourself a gestation period of, say, 5 years, 6, 7 years, you will get to a point where you would have built a network, you would have developed roots, all right? And then you can begin to earn, without much effort. The truth is, the airplane burns more aviation fuel at the point of takeoff than when it is cruising. And so, at the beginning of of building a system or building a business for what you should be selling, it might task you a little. But that seed period is important so that you can have something that you would have built and use your life to, scale and develop and leave it as a legacy for your children and your children's children. Africans don't know how to build to last. We like to build for survival. But if you want to just survive, then you can continue to do what you're doing. If you are building for tomorrow, for your children and their children after them, then you must take time to develop what you are building, develop what you should be selling, develop that idea so that it becomes a product or service that, is enduring and it lasts and continues to be here even after you have gone. Yes, you will profit from it. Your children will profit from it. If you do not want to spend the time to build such a system, by first of all developing your capacity, by learning how to build businesses that survive, by being trained so that you are able to weather the storms that normally attend or confront small businesses, then you will remain in the circle, or what we call the rat race. So you can desire to start today. The promises by government, we have found that they are not reliable. Now, you cannot rely on your certificate because the average graduate in Nigeria operates at a lower level of understanding of, issues, concepts, and activities that revolve around the work that you're supposed to be trained for compared to other graduates in other African countries. So our educational system already puts us at a disadvantage on number one. Number two, we do not have the platforms or the right environment to operate in that should help us to, even put our training to work. So the best bet for us today is to build our own businesses. And you start by developing yourself. Now, this is not a motivational talk that tries to make you feel that the moment you're done with this, just step out and start something. No. Can we get trained? Can we understand our markets? Can we understand what we have to sell? Can we develop a plan, and know for how long we can do this? Can we understand the people that will be buying from us, either our services or our products? And then over time, having understood this, maybe 2-3 months of training, and then subsequently you continue to add to your body of knowledge, you will begin to actually start the business with a body of knowledge that puts you at an advantage. Okay, it will put you at an advantage that will enable you stay long on that stuff, and you will be able to operate better than those who are operating in that industry or in that space, as a more knowledgeable person. The truth is that the more you know, the more you earn. And so for you to actually begin to sell that which you have, to begin to leverage on the problems that your society has, that you have built capacity to provide solution for or products for, you need to start now by understanding the dynamics of starting a business, building that business, building a system that lasts. Okay? That's one of the reasons why the Tripod of Life comes to you every Saturday. Today we have talked about you asking yourself some valid questions and very frank questions about what you are selling. And so I would like to draw the curtain here, but I'm going to drop my phone on the screen right now. It's my WhatsApp line. I am a certified management consultant. I help people develop business concepts and ideas. I help train those who want to start their businesses. We run one-on-one training programs, virtual or physical, depending on where you are. I live in the north of Nigeria. I live in Kano. And if you're in Lagos, we can do a visual stuff. We can run personal development programs or enterprise development classes for you on the basis of the gifts and calling and endowment that you have. We develop specialized programs that will help you start out well. So if you like, it's a personal coaching session, and it goes as far as 30 contact hours spread out over a period of maybe 2 months. Okay, and I like to advise that you don't do shortcuts. You don't do crash programs. Okay, so if you have any need with respect to all that I have talked about in terms of starting your own stuff, let us have a conversation. Give me a chat. That number on the screen is a WhatsApp number, and let's have a discussion. And you can start today. I started out in 2008, and it's been yes, it's about the 11th year or the 12th year of starting on my own. I had a gestation period of almost 7 years. But I can tell you, if Zenith Bank, where I resigned from, calls me back today, there's no way I'm going back there. Why? Because I have built a system, and the system is working. And I see smiles on the faces of people that I serve, that I train, that I mentor. And that's the number one most fulfilling reward, apart from the financial reward, that has begun to trickle in. Now I'm building what I have been building for life. I'm not building for just my generation. I'm building for my children and for my children after them, my grandchildren after them. And so I'm speaking from the point of experience, and I have been positioned to be of help to many. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from you. That's my offering for the Tripod of Life this Saturday morning. God bless you and enjoy the weekend. If you're in the city of Kano, I'd like for you to join me at Living Hope International Christian Center tomorrow. I am also a spiritual leader. I'm a pastor, besides being a management consultant and an enterprise coach. I pastor the Living Hope International Christian Center here in the city of Kano. And tomorrow we have a normal worship service. It's always a wholesome time in church. And our worship center is at number 122 to 128 Egbe Road, inside the Researchers Nursery and Primary School, Sabongeri, Kano. And our worship service starts from 9 a.m. Tomorrow, I will be sharing a sermon on the full-time God. It will be a blessing if you can come around. If you're not in Kano, you can join us online on my different Facebook platforms and social media handles. All you need to do is, for Facebook, you just go to Living Hope International Christian Center, and you will find us live from 9:15 a.m. It's been a pleasure bringing this to you. I'd like for you to share this video with your friends and let us have them also benefit from what is on offer. God bless you and have a lovely weekend.